Here's my Pickems for Champs 2024. So, in my last video, I did power rankings basically for Champs, and I definitely included some like more outlandish type predictions. That was before I had the draw, and it was also I didn't explain what I was doing very well. I didn't explain that even though I did predict upsets, that those upsets are what they are. They're upsets. They are low chance to happen. So this time I'll do a better job of when I actually predict an upset, I'll explain it, what I actually mean, what I think the chances of it happening are, and all that sort of stuff. Because clearly I didn't do a very good job. So I'll make sure I do a better job this time. So first of all, Group A, Fnatic versus Bilibili. I think Fnatic are going to win this one. I don't think Bilibili stand a huge amount of chance to upset. DRX versus Crew. I think DRX are clearly the better team. And then Bilibili versus Crew. I think Crew are going to win that one. Fnatic versus DRX, this is pretty close. I would say this is like a 50-50. Like, it's just whoever's playing better on the day, in my opinion. But I will put Fnatic. Not sure. I just prefer Fnatic, but yeah, it is what it is. DRX versus Crew. I think DRX is going to win. Pretty simple there. Group B, Gen.G versus Sentinels. I think Gen.G are like top 2 team in the world, so it makes sense to put Gen.G over Sentinels here. FPX versus Team Heretics. I think Team Heretics are clearly the better team, although I think FPX, if they were in an easier group, they would stand a lot more chance of like making it through or like upsetting potentially. But I think this group is quite hard. It's hard for me to put them above Sentinels as well, just because of how I feel like they've got a lot of individual strong players. Sentinels do. At least I definitely have, in my opinion, definitely have 3. I think Sassy and Zelsis do have times where they are a bit less good overall, but I think Zek and Tense and John Cutie can be really, really insane individually. And obviously I think the other two probably do have their moments, but I think for the most part it's those 3 that really stand out, and I think they are better than the FPX players overall, like individually. So I do think Sentinels are going to end up winning. If not through individual play, they'll win through the team play as well. I think the team play overall is better than FPX's. Gen.G versus Team Heretics, I think Gen.G are going to win. As I said, top 2 team in the world in my opinion. Team Heretics versus Sentinels, this is pretty close, but I do think Team Heretics are going to end up winning this one. Next is Group C, Lev versus Talon. So I think Lev are going to be pretty high ranked this tournament. I think they have some of the best individual players in the world when they're actually activated. Obviously Aspas goes without question, right? Or goes without saying. Team Vitality, Trace. I think Team Vitality are probably a bit underrated, but obviously I don't think they're going to lose to Trace. Talon, and then will beat Trace, and then Lev versus Team Vitality. I think Lev will end up getting a high placement in this tournament, so I think they're going to be pretty strong in their group. Team Vitality versus Talon. This is where I could definitely put an upset here. I do think that Talon do have the capacity to beat Team Vitality, and I don't think it's like super unlikely, but I do think that Team Vitality will end up winning in the end. But bear in mind that I do think that Talon do have a chance to upset, and I do think the chance is not 0% and it's not low. I do think that Talon, like Primi, could just take over and win a map or 2, and that can be enough to win them the series. Okay, next is EDG versus Foot. Once again, another upset that I could potentially go for here, with EDG potentially beating Foot. Foot is actually like a really good team, but I do think they are susceptible to just losing to Chinese teams. The reason why I think that is because I think Chinese teams tend to have a really high individual level on per player, right? And Foot don't tend to have that. They tend to have really strong team play, and to be honest, it's got better overall with like Yetege and CNED, who are really good individual players. But I do think overall they can still lose to Chinese teams. If this was FPX, I probably would predict them to lose. As also, to be fair, I predicted them to lose last time, and they did to FPX. Maybe making it less chance this time. Like if they did have FPX here, they probably would it probably would be less likely that they lose against FPX the second time, but they're not against FPX, against EDG, and I think that they will actually beat EDG. G2 versus Paper X. So historically, G2 have placed higher than Paper X. I can't remember if they've actually ever played each other. I think they have, right? But I think G2 will win. Will win this one regardless. Paper X will beat EDG. Foot and G2. I think G2 will win, and then it's Foot versus Paper X. I do think like these teams are pretty close as well. But once again, the same reason why I think they can lose to Chinese teams. I think Paper X individual players are better than the Foot individual players. And don't get me wrong, it is really important to have like really good strats and things. But the thing is like everyone's got a plan to get punched in the face, right? And I think Paper X are going to be the ones doing the punching in the face. And they're going to be, and don't get me wrong, and also Paper X are not like a stratless team. They're also really, really good strat wise as well. They're definitely different, and I think that can definitely throw a curveball at Foot, who I think are a lot more of like a, I guess, like cerebral type team in a lot of their plays. So I think Paper X is going to end up qualifying, and that's it for my pick'ems for the groups. Definitely a lot safer than last time with my predictions for the groups. These definitely look like a top 8 to me. More so than what I predicted before. So yeah, this is my predictions. Definitely better than last time. So I'll see you in my next one.